United States Highway 12. Bleh. Now, this video would have been offered to the Derp Hog, but he can't make the video now since Detroit cannot go to the Super Bowl. So this video is in my hands now, and it is a spin-off episode of the finished series, Michigan's Freeways. So for this video, we are going to be looking at US 12 from Chicago to Detroit. We'll be going through Illinois, Indiana, and then Michigan. So for this video, we will only be looking at Eastbound, US 12, from Chicago to Detroit. Our journey begins here at the CTA 95th and Dan Ryan station, which is the terminal of the Red Line. In this section, we are concurrent with US 20. Here we pass under I-90, the Chicago Skyway, and we can see the bridge itself as we look in the distance. Here we have a concurrency with a total of 3 two-digit US highways. US 12, US 20, and US 41. Here is an interchange with I-90, and we can also see the 2 I-80 and 2 I-94 toll road. And we are now welcomed into Indiana as we get this Indiana signage here. Here at this point, US 41 splits off from US 12 and US 20, and we'll be continuing straight on the two road concurrency. Here is where US 20 leaves US 12. US 12 is going to be turning left. Here's an interesting thing. This looked like a freeway. We meet with Indiana 912, and we can see it's called Airport Road and Klein Avenue. We can see signage for in 912 south for Klein Avenue, but in reality, we are also joining that route. Indiana doesn't give us this information. Here we meet again with US 20, we're joining back right up with it, and we're gonna see US 12 East and US 20 are signed for 5th Avenue. Here we meet with I-65, and we can see South Indianapolis, and we can also see in the distance 65, 2 I-80, and 94 toll road. US 12 leaves US 20 once again, and we are turning to head parallel to Lake Michigan. We don't really get control cities in Indiana for US 12, but here at this random interchange we can see US 12 assigned west for Gary and east for Michigan City, and I agree with that. Here we are in Michigan City. There's not much to see right here on this road, but there's a nice looking building there. And now we enter the state of Michigan. Not Michigan City, we're now in Pure, Michigan. Our first stop in Michigan is New Buffalo, and we can't really get a view of downtown from here as we are south of the downtown, but you can turn left to get there. Here we turn right to continue on US 12, and we can see Michigan signs this for 3 Oaks. I'm not really fond of that one. That is literally the next town over. But before that, we meet with I-94, which is simply signed for Detroit and Chicago. So Michigan, like other states, likes to sign their secondaries at random interchanges, but put the primary on mileage signs like this. We got Niles on the bottom line at 24. That's fine. Here we meet with US 31 west of Niles, and we can see it gets signage for South Bend and Holland. And that's strange, I thought 31 was signed for Benton Harbor. I guess skipping over it works too. Here, US 12 exits itself, and straight ahead is M60 signed for 3 Rivers. US 12 East is getting signed for Sturgis. Sturgis appears on the bottom line at 44 miles away. That is fine, and I agree that PENNDOT does this. Here we meet with US 131 in White Pigeon, and we can see signage for Kalamazoo and Middlebury. Middlebury is really the next significant town. It's in Indiana, so that works. Here we are in Sturgis, and we now meet M66, which is signed north for Battle Creek. And we get a straight up arrow for Coldwater. Coldwater is on the bottom line at 24 miles away. Still sensible. Here is a look at downtown Coldwater. Quite a bit of my family's roots go back to Coldwater. Now we meet with I-69, which is signed for Lansing and Fort Wayne, as is. Once we get a control city at this interchange, we get 12 East Quincy. That's the next town over again, but I assume this is another secondary thing. Here's what I think is the biggest swing that Michigan takes on US 12. It's Ypsilanti at 75 miles away. Really, there's nothing significant between here and Ypsilanti, so that is really good. We meet with US 127, signed for Jackson and Hudson. and Ypsilanti is still held up on US 12. Here we have a nice look at the Michigan International Speedway. I've only driven past it, but I've never actually went inside to see a race. Here we now meet US 23, and we get signage for Ypsilanti, which is still for US 12, and Ann Arbor for US 23. And we get Toledo signed southbound. We're now going to be joining up with I-94 eastbound, and we're going to be signed for Detroit. Here we split off of US 12, and we get some nice information differentiating the two close by airports. US 12 is branching off to Michigan Avenue and Willow Run Airport, which isn't a passenger airport, and we get 94 for Metro Airport and Detroit. Here are our entrances to Willow Run Airport. We get west and a north/east entrance. Here we meet with I-275, which is signed for Toledo and Flint. To refresh your memory, I-275 was the first video I did on freeway content. Here we are in the city of Wayne. This isn't really anything important, but I just wanted to show it. We now meet with US 24, which is Telegraph Road, and that's all the signage we get. We don't need any control cities for this road. Now, there are two places in Dearborn that can be considered downtowns. This here is considered the west downtown. Here we meet with M39, which is just Southfield Freeway for its entirety, no control cities given. And here's the other part of Dearborn that can be considered the downtown. This is referred to as the east downtown. Here we have another ramp for East 94 for Detroit, and that still makes sense because 94 is the faster way into the city itself. We also get an M153 shield, as this is Wyoming Avenue, and that will take you to Ford Road, which is what M153 runs on. Here we are at Roosevelt Park, and we have a nice view of the historic Michigan Central Station. We also see the corner ballpark here in Corktown, which is the former site of Tiger Stadium. We can also see the Motor City Casino Hotel in the distance. We're now in downtown, and we can see the Rosa Parks Transit Center and the People Mover. So consider that we went from a rail line to a rail line for this whole video. US 12 officially ends here in front of Campus Martius Park. Now, I just wanted to get this video out of my system because I want to forget about what happened today. I assure you that we will be going back to shaming PENNDOT the next time. But that's it for this spin-off episode of Michigan's Freeways, and I will see you in the next Shaming PENNDOT episode, US 220.